here's the philosophical question I'm struggling with, which is not a new question, but I'm trying to look at it from an angle in which my mind works to try and make some sense of it. The question is, does anything we do in life actually matter? And what I mean by that, because there's a lot of different directions you can go with it, is the decisions we make, do they actually matter in influencing the outcome of our lives? So I'm not on the point of like, does life matter at all? Valid question, good question. Let's put that aside for a second though. Let's assume it does for whatever reason. We have some value system, we have some things that we think are important, right? Let's just leave it as simple as that. Do the decisions we make actually give us some control, agency, ability, influence to get to the outcome, to optimize for those values that we care about? And I think the simple answer, or the stock answer that most people give, is like, of course it matters. Like, it matters somewhat. And that's probably true, although, let's look at the thread of it a little bit, right? Like, if one of the things I want to do in life is raise my son to have a good life, well, you run into the first issue of how do you define good life. But again, let's put that aside for a second. Let's say I have some view of which I want him to be happy. I want him to be successful. I want him to feel satisfied with his life, whatever it is. So then I take some actions. Maybe I sign him up for piano lessons because I think that's a good way to kind of build character and teach him to do something hard. Maybe I bring him to play dates with his friends because I think it's good to socialize. Maybe I stress the importance of schoolwork. There's all sorts of decisions I make because I think those things are going to lead to better optimizing this outcome that I want, which is him having a good life. But who am I to say, right? When you think about how random and infinite and variable the world is, the thought that me putting him in piano lessons or stressing the importance of homework is going to lead to that result of him having a better life is almost absurd. Because, and you can look throughout history at examples of this where people who had more adversity in life, they didn't have a parent who really pushed them. Maybe they didn't even graduate high school, achieve amazing things. People that didn't have enough money to take piano lessons, right, or whatever. Or you can even take it in a much simpler way, which is, God forbid, I sign him up for piano lessons because I think that's going to give him a better life. And then we get into a car accident on the way to piano class. And God forbid, we both die. Well, that's not better. So, and that's a simple example, but there's all these different things that can come into play. So when you step back and you think about it and you say, well, am I sure it matters, the decisions I make? I could see why there is a logical thread that seems like it should have some influence over the outcome of my life or the things that I'm striving for. But when you really get underneath it, when you really look at it, I don't know that it does. And you can kind of liken it or parallel it to like lottery tickets, right? I'll make up the numbers, but you take somebody who buys one lottery ticket and now they have a 1 in a trillion chance of winning the lottery. So they say, you know what I'm going to do? I know what I'll do. I'll buy 1,000 lottery tickets. Yes, technically, mathematically, you have, in the most minuscule of ways, increased your chances of winning the lottery, right? Maybe it's 2 in a trillion now, right? Whatever it is. But for all intents and purposes, because of how infinite and varied and random, the whole thing is, you haven't really, in any material way, increased your chances of getting to that outcome, in this case, winning the lottery. And I think these decisions we make in life are very much like that. We want to believe that if we're thoughtful, if we're very deliberate and we think about our life and we plan it out the right way and I do these things and I put my kid in piano and I stress the importance of school, I'm going to get the result I want. Or even if I understand the idea that it doesn't guarantee me that result, I'm at least giving myself a better chance. I'm increasing the odds. But I wonder if, like in the lottery example there, how much am I really increasing those odds? Is it really meaningful in any way? And furthermore, like given just the randomness of it, it's possible I'm actually setting myself down a path that's going to result in the exact opposite thing I want. So it's a problem for me, right? And where it often comes around to is the more Buddhist mindset or someone who practices mindfulness or that type of thing, which would say, yeah, that's right. So that's why you just have to live in the moment. You just have to worry about the current moment and find pleasure and joy in that, because trying to attach it to future things, trying to plan for things in the future and control things, that's an illusion, right? Exactly like we're saying, the numbers just don't check out. It's an absurd thought to have. Therefore, just be in the moment. Just be happy whatever that moment is, right? If you're staring at a cup, if you're just sitting in the backyard by yourself staring at the sky, whatever it is, be in that moment, find joy in that moment. And I get that. And there's logic in that, and it makes sense to me. And it would seem to suggest, well, okay, then don't, because if you go to the extreme, which is where my mind tends to go, because I'm trying to prove, right? I'm trying to find the lines of how you understand this. So can I take that to the extreme? Does that mean I don't worry about anything in the future? I don't worry about trying to improve myself or my situation or have any influence over my life or my family's life in any way because the math doesn't check out, right? It's too random. Therefore, I just live in the moment. Therefore, I don't worry about any of that stuff. But that doesn't seem right either, right? And I think what I've heard from a lot of different people, like a Sam Harris or other people that believe this is, well, no, like you still want to plan something. You can still do things to try and improve your life. But those things seem incompatible to me. Because as soon as you introduce some value system that says there's something that I value that I want to achieve or get in the future, so I'm going to make some decisions to do that, well, now you're going counter to the Buddhist mindset or that mindfulness mindset, which is just live in the moment. That's all that matters. So you have to pick one or the other. And it's just a troubling thought because it also feels wrong to say that. To say, well, no, then I'm not going to value anything in the future. I'm not going to plan for anything. My decisions don't matter. I can do whatever I want because it's all random. That feels wrong too. It feels like you should be thoughtful, you should be deliberate, but why? Is it just an illusion? Does it just make us feel better? And you see the question I'm struggling with, and I do not have an answer. I do not know the answer to this question, but I think it's important. I know I'm making all sorts of decisions every day, thinking I'm doing them for good reason, because I'm helping to drive myself or my family or whatever to a better outcome. But that might be nonsense. But what's my alternative? To just be in the moment and not care about anything else? So if there is an answer or somebody has thoughts, I'd love to hear it.